Hey, Barry Medity, CEO and founder of The Game Changers, and welcome to today's video where I want to speak about 3 things that could be holding your business back. Within Starter Opulence program and our business community, there's something that the guys have been speaking about a lot lately, which is around this notion of leading versus managing, and what is the difference? And in Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth Revisited, he spoke about the 4 stages that a business owner needs to transition through to become an entrepreneur and to have a business that works beyond them and without them. And those 4 stages are the first one being the technician. And this is where a lot of people start. They're fantastic at doing something. So they decide, well, rather than being fantastic and earning all the money for someone else, I'm just going to go and do that myself. I'm a fantastic PT. I'm just going to start my own PT business. I'm going to open up my own gym. I'm a fantastic electrician. I'm just going to buy a van and start up my own Sparky business. And so they're the technician. And the technician is fantastic at doing their particular thing. The next stage I want to move to is the manager, which is where they have one foot in the technician and one foot in the manager. They're starting to hire staff, but they're starting to manage those staff to be able to do other things, which allows them to grow their capacity, allows them to take on more clients, allows them to some degree, get their time back. Yet they're still heavily involved because they're still, in many ways, have one foot in the technician role and one foot in the management role where they're trying to work out and to sort out how to manage the resources of other staff. And this could be quite challenging for someone who has never been in business before and has started from the technician position. The next stage that they move to is into being a leader. And the significant difference between being a manager is the manager is more on the floor, managing the day-to-day operations, whereas the leader is more so out there ahead. Think about the mother duck. The mother duck never looks behind to see whether or not the ducklings are following her. If the car comes and she gets startled, she just shoots off and expects that the ducklings will follow. And I guess the difference being is the manager is the one that's kind of turning around, trying to get the ducks in a row, managing, overseeing accountabilities, responsibilities, making sure that team members are doing, executing things effectively. Whereas a leader is more so around leading the way. They're leading the way from a cultural, from a vision, a mission, values perspective. They're leading the way in the terms of creating something that doesn't necessarily exist and being a leader for the rest of the organization. And if you're wanting to create a business right now that works without you, you need to learn how to transition from being a technician into being a manager, into being a leader. And the biggest difference within a leader is that a good leader creates other leaders. They don't need to have the limelight. They don't need to have the spotlight. They're very much about being okay with sitting back and noticing their team stepping up. And there's a significant shift that we need to make within our mind at that point in time to relinquish control, which is one of the hardest things that we have as entrepreneurs to be able to do, is to relinquish that control and to allow others to step up, allow others to even make mistakes in doing what they're doing. And it's only through that we can then build a leadership team and transition to that 4th stage of being the entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur has a business that operates profitably, somewhat predictably without them being involved, because they've built a leadership team that manages, that has managers underneath, that has technicians underneath those. And that's where that organizational structure comes from. The second thing I want to speak about today is around automation and time-saving hacks. It's something that I recorded in one of my previous videos. And I see a lot that businesses change. Business is very different to when I first started out 20 years ago. We have a lot more access to technology now. We have all the different social channels. We have the interwebs. We have so much information and opportunity at our fingertip. And there's never been an easier time to succeed in business. And at the same time, there's never been a more challenging time to succeed in business, because everyone has access to the same things that we do all over the world. And if you're not currently looking for ways to implement automation within your marketing, within your sales, within your systems and the way you manage your team, you're spending a hell of a lot of time unresourcefully on things that are not required. We work with a lot of tradies, and we notice that one of the biggest things is that the tradies lack having a CRM system in place, something that allows them to quote a job profitably and effectively in a short period of time, then convert that quote into a sales order, into an invoice to get paid for it, a system to follow up, getting paid on time, and then also something that then converts that into a job order, a materials list and so forth. And there's all these different softwares out there, and there's different platforms and different abilities that people have to create automation. I know for us in our business, we currently run a significantly large team over the Philippines, and it's only through software systems like Asana that we use to manage our projects, and the team uses to manage their recurring and daily tasks. We have things like Slack, which is basically a messenger function like Facebook, for those of you that don't know what it is. And it's really allowed us to significantly limit the amount of emails that the team are sending back and forth, because a lot of it's a very quick, short text through Slack, or you can do videos or audio messages as well. It's got some really cool functions around setting up automatic reminders if you're wanting your team to post, what's their win bin for the day, or what are the things they're working on. We use other software platforms as well, like the Google Suite, which allows us to be using documents and spreadsheets, which we can have two different people working on the same document from different parts of the globe. But really, where we've seen the automation be a huge advantage for our business around time saving is around the marketing and sales function. A lot of prospects that come through our sales process comment around how automated yet personal it is, and the reason being is we've spent the time to go and set up systems that seamlessly take someone from being a prospect that downloads one of our resources or opts in for a call, all the way through to having a call. And in that experience, they're getting a chance to interact with several team members. They're getting a chance to interact with our current clients through testimonies and reviews and feedbacks and case studies. They're getting a chance to interact with us and more of our content. Like we have a podcast that's had over 1 million downloads in the past 12 months. We've had some incredible interviews with some really successful entrepreneurs. And so it allows them to see a different side of myself or my team or the people that we work with. And that whole entire process takes a fraction of the time for us to execute as what it did when we first started out, because we spent the time implementing automation. There's an incredibly great tool called Zapier, which will connect two seemingly different platforms. So we can connect a platform like our CRM system, like ActiveCampaign, into a platform like Slack or Google Drive or Asana to create projects based on where somebody's at in our marketing and sales process. And so if you're not currently using any form of automation right now, I can guarantee that you're spending a hell of a lot of time and wasting a lot of money, both yourself and your team members, which is preventing you from scaling. And a mistake that a lot of people can make is as their business starts to scale, they feel that they need to hire more staff and hire more staff and hire more staff. And the issue is every time you hire a staff member, the level of complexity goes up in your business by more than 120%, even hiring one staff member. And so the more staff members you have, the more complex your business becomes, which actually costs you growth and momentum and can also cost you a lot of profitability. Ultimately, you want your business's revenue and profits to be going and exceeding the growth of your expenses. And yet if you feel that you're just hiring more team members or more staff members to fill gaps is the way of doing it, most likely it's not the right way. And we end up building a habit around just throwing money and people at fixing a problem rather than looking to technology and software to overcome those problems and challenges. So the second thing I want to speak about is automation and time saving, and how can you look at what you're doing day to day, and how can you look at implementing some form of software system or platform to significantly reduce the time of doing that. And the last thing is around investing your time into your team and investing your time to really understanding your clients. I think as a CEO, and especially once you get past the $1 million mark, 80% of your time should be invested into understanding your clients more intimately, and spent on growing and educating and leading your team. I had this little notion that I believe that if you look after, as a CEO, if you look after your team very, very well, your team will look after your clients very, very well. And your clients will ultimately look after you through paying their bills on time, through repeat business, and obviously referring friends and family to your business as well. So how much time are you spending right now investing in building the culture within your team? How much time are you investing in growing your team? I remember, I think it was Richard Branson was asked a question. He's like, what if I spend all this time and money on a team member and they leave? And he simply asked the question back, what if I don't spend money and time investing in my team member and they stay? Right? So, do you want to come from a place of scarcity around not spending money and time because someone might leave you, or do you want to come from a place of abundance and give them everything? And if they do leave you to go on to somewhere else, celebrate that because you've done your job. But ultimately, people don't leave you for more money, although that's what they mention, or that's what they use as an excuse of why they left your company. They left because their core needs aren't being met. They're not feeling a level of certainty within their role, a sense of adventure in what they're doing. They're not seeing how they're being contributed to, how they're feeling significant. They're not feeling the love and the care, and that there's maybe not the growth there for them. And if an employee or a contractor is feeling having their six core needs met, they're going to stay around for a long, long time. And if money is a thing that comes up for them, they're going to come and speak to you as a CEO to help you to overcome that with them, rather than just leaving you for a job that's paying you more. So my recommendation is you should be spending time regularly building your team and developing their skill set. I know for us in our organization, we have team members that have now been through 3 or 4 different roles in the company, and they're more valuable for us because it means if a team member's sick, they can jump in and take the reins of a previous role they've been in because they've been with us for a while and they've grown through and developed themselves through these different roles. And then lastly, second part of that is investing in understanding your customers. How often are you spending time just ringing customers up? How often are you surveying customers? Because there could be a lot of missed opportunity that you're not aware of right now, or you might feel that your business is going along seemingly good because you're getting good reviews, but not really understanding where there's potential needs to service your client. I know for us in this last 12 months, I spend time every single month calling up clients at random, spending an hour or so with clients that have been with us for more than 12 or 18 months, working together to interview them and to really understand where they're at, which shows me and helps me to understand how can we help them more. How can we develop more trainings or more programs, or provide joint ventures or bring in board new services to serve our clients, to keep them longer, to have them getting better results faster, and also to have them ultimately spending more money as well with us because they're so happy and the values exchange is so massive with what we provide. So 3 things we covered on today. Long video, touched on a lot. Was number 1, leading versus managing. Number 2, automation and time saving hacks. And number 3, around investing in your team and investing in understanding your clients and what they need. If you're a business owner and you're wanting to look for ways to grow your business faster, maybe you want to triple your profits and double your time off, maybe you're wanting to invest in understanding how you can become a better leader. Maybe you're in that technician or manager phase right now and you're wanting to become a better leader. Or maybe you're wanting to understand some more software platforms and how you actually go about implementing them for your business right now. Or maybe it's simply that you're wanting to, up-level yourself as a leader, provide more training to your staff, and find ways to understand your customers better. I recommend booking a 15-minute call with one of our scaling specialists. They can talk you through, understand a bit more about us, about how we work, understand a bit more about you and your business and how you work. And if there's a fit, we can look at booking a longer call to start to put in place a roadmap and some core steps along the way to help you to get your business and your life to where you'd like to see it. My name is Barry Medady. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.